Hello, we are Group G. In this video, we are going to talk about the ocean plastic pollution in China and Japan. We will discuss these two countries' different plastic pollution situations, results, and solutions.
We use plastic products every day. In the early days, people were once ecstatic about its birth. The characteristics of colorful, light, not afraid of dropping, economical and durable make it not only bring great convenience to human life, but also promote industrial development greatly. However, 100 years later, plastic has spread all over the land in our living space. Some people say that this is the greatest invention and the worst invention as well. In this part, I'm going to talk about ocean plastic pollution in China. The first question is where the plastic pollution comes from in China. There are a lot of ways making plastic entering the ocean. 80% of marine litter is transported into the ocean through rivers, and 20% is thrown from ships. It can be said that the rivers act an extremely important role in the process of plastic flowing into the ocean. The environmental conditions in Chinese rivers are not very optimistic. A report from Natural Communication shows that the estimate of plastic input from the world's polluted rivers to ocean. 6 Chinese rivers are on the list. The first one is Yangtze River, about 333,000 tons, accounting for 23.7% of the world's total input, which is a huge disparity between the second one. Why is the amount of plastic discharged into the ocean through the rivers in China? First, it's because China has a huge amount of plastic products. China is a big country with plastics production, and the number is increasing yearly. And China is also importing plastic from other countries for economic reasons. Second is the low rate of plastic reclamation. According to the National Development and Reform Commission, as the 2013, less than one-third of China's waste plastics were recycled, and China's domestic garbage recycling rate is less than 20%. In developed countries with strong spending power, the recovery rate usually exceeds 50%. The biggest reason is the failure of plastic management. According to the Marine Atlas 2017 shows that among the 20 countries with the worst plastic management in the world, the amount of improperly disposed plastic in China is about 882 million cubic meters per year. It is twice as many as Indonesia in the second place. The lack of recycling and non-standardization, the lack of environmental awareness, and imperfect laws provide loopholes for highly polluting enterprises, make plastic a large number of discards.
Plastic pollution caused so many problems in China. First, exacerbate water insecurity. China is home to 20% of the world population, but only has access to 7% of its unfrozen fresh water. However, with mounting plastic pollution, it makes water resources dirty and exacerbating lack of water resources. Over 80% of China's chemical fibers are produced in the Yangtze River's economic belt, but it remains a dismal recycling rate of only 1%. These chemical fibers are a major source of microfiber pollution, most of which ends up in the ocean, contributing to the global plastic crisis. And how to control this plastic pollution remains a big issue to the government. Second, plastic pollution harms to animals. Plastic wastes have been mistaken for food by numerous animals, mainly marine wildlife. especially the birds in the north of China. We found that lots of birds died because eating plastics. When the plastics are ingested, they upset or fill up the digestive system of the animal, thus contributing to their death due to blockage or starvation. On the east coast of China, some ocean species are trapped in plastic waste and exposed to predators or starve to death. The plastic also contains toxic chemicals which can harm the animal's vital organs or biological functions. It's bad for marine ecosystems. Third, plastic pollution leads to economic losses and tourist destruction. Scattered plastics at the beaches and the downsteps, towers, traffic lights within city unusually portray a very bad picture of the respective regions and depict environmental insensitivity. Winds also carry the plastic to other areas, increasing plastic littering. As a result, tourism to such areas is affected, leading to the loss of tourism revenue. So we can find that plastic pollution in China has serious consequences. If there's no precautions are taken, the harm may become more and more serious.
The ocean plastic pollution in China caused many serious problems on both human and the environment. And here I'm going to talk about the current solution of ocean plastic pollution in China. Although China has signed for some international treaties about this situation, there's no detailed laws for controlling plastic waste in the ocean of China now. And there are only some laws about the plastic and solid waste controlling on the land. Without a strong and detailed law, the government cannot efficiently deal with the plastic waste of the ocean. So, legislation procedure is essential. Some scholars and the Chinese Academy of Science have suggested a legislation procedure of plastic waste controlling of the ocean has to be arranged. Referring to some countries such as Australia, they try to recycle and recover the origin of the plastic waste to reduce the quantity of plastic poured into the ocean. And they are also trying to collect plastic in the ocean to reduce the total number of ocean plastic waste. But in current China, there's no systematic methods to estimate, observe, and control the plastic waste in the ocean. In order to deal with this serious situation, the government published an ocean microplastic monitoring and ecosystem estimation program in 2016. They have tried to catch up with the increasing speed of accumulating ocean plastic waste, but China, in current situation, is still lack of collecting and decomposing technologies about ocean plastic waste. Although they can collect some waste, the final destination of them is landfills or incinerators. China is the biggest waste import country. Many countries, including the United Kingdom, United States, Japan, and the other regions, export a majority of their domestic waste to China to relieve their waste burden. And plastic waste accounts for a majority part of this imported waste, which is also a source of ocean plastic waste in China. In order to control the waste and improve the environment, China started to carry out a strict waste import policy, which is called China Ban. This ban strictly controls or even ban the import of many kinds of waste, including plastic from foreign countries. And this policy might relieve the problem of ocean plastic pollution in China. Public participation is also an important part of dealing with ocean plastic waste, but it seems that the public lacks of awareness of how serious the ocean plastic pollution is in China. Some Chinese scholars and scientists suggest to improve the public education and promote garbage classification to reduce the amount of ocean plastic waste pollution.
Hello, my name is Atsuhiro Tsumi. I am a member of Group G. Today my topic is how plastic waste impact on Japanese marine ecosystem. These days, some problems happen in Japanese marine ecosystem. For example, decreasing of a home of creatures, decreasing of fish catch, and decreasing species and number of creatures, and so on. Main reason is marine pollution. There are mainly three routes that marine creatures take harmful substances into the body. The first is misintake of microplastics that have observed harmful chemicals at high concentrations. Second, directly taking harmful chemicals dissolved in seawater from respiratory organs such as gill without going through microplastics. The third is a route to feed plankton and small organisms that have already incorporated harmful chemicals. At this stage, it is not known which routes are big causes. However, it is feared that the first route is the main cause. Originally, plastics waste are rarely used by themselves. Plastics are mixed with other materials called additives to enhance performance. By the way, microplastic is a very small piece, 5 mm or less. It exists everywhere in the sea. Plastic products are dumped in the sea, and if exposed to ultraviolet light, they will be broken down and become microplastic. Microplastics release harmful additives used in the manufacture of plastics into seawater. Finally, marine creatures receive bad influences. These are the problem of Japanese marine ecosystem, and I described cause. Thank you for listening.
Hello, today I want to talk about the solution, and I'm sorry again, I cannot this PPT is not work the record function, so I take a video again. I'm sorry that. And then begin. And the solution. First, I will talk about just two things. That is, it's not a big deal. And the first is what people can do. As first is don't throw away some plastic stuff to the ocean. Because of that things, the plastics packets affect some ocean's animal, so we shouldn't that. And then second is appropriate disposal. We need the plastic can be recycled, so that's why we should disposal to appropriate places. And then third is cleaning up some plastic stuff in the coast. When some plastic is moved to the coast because of the wave, so we need to clean up the plastic stuff in the coast. And last things, salt bulk. We need to use a salt bulk. What is this? This is the plastic bulk dissolved in water. Why this is dissolved in water? Because it doesn't create it by the petroleum, but the limestones. That's why it created. That's why it dissolved, and then it's not bad effect to the ocean and the animal in the ocean. So it's still developed just plastic bag, but in the future it will plastic bottle and so on also dissolve. So we cannot do that, but develop the technology also the solution. So that is the first is what we can do is don't throw away and then appropriate disposal and clean up some stuff in the coast. And the second is sew back. Thank you for listening.
Stage. Today, I will talk about the solution of microplastic problem. Microplastics have a large impact on the world's ocean. In addition, since the sea is connected to one, it is necessary to take measures for microplastic around the world. Particularly in Japan, it is hard to say that regulations on plastic are in progress because Japanese people still use many plastic bags. In Japan, in Japan, few people use eco bags. However, in the world, many countries are in the movement to regulate plastics. Here, I will take up the measures that I would like to promote in Japan. Among the measures I've examined. Next, I will talk about my opinion. First of all, it's a plastic-free supermarket. This is being done for the first time in the world in the Netherlands. There are no plastic bags. Of course, any products using plastic in the supermarket. This is an attempt to do it in Japan. Next, there are some countries and regions that require eco bags. There is no plastic bags when shopping, so you need to bring your own bags. This also country contributes significantly to the reduction of plastics. In addition, there are some states in the United States that are promoting my straw. This is a truly revolutionary idea. The simplest idea is that in some countries, the law restricts plastic. Law restricts plastic production in order to reduce plastic. There are many things that can be done in Japan like this. All of there are my opinion, and I think this idea is possible in Japan. I think Japan should try to reduce microplastic and also try to try to clean the ocean. That's all. Thank you for listening.